Yeah. I'm grubby. Look at that beard. Looking grubby and schlubby. My hair's a mess. I'm getting a haircut this afternoon. Maybe we'll clean it up a little bit. But for today's podcast on Thursday, August the 18th, on my 11th anniversary as a Clevelander, and on today's Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, here it is. Here I am, grubby and all, ready to talk a lot of things with you. On today's edition of the podcast, what are we talking about here? We're talking about practice? I guess a little, with Browns training camp. We'll get to the latest on Deshaun Watson, which as of when I'm recording this, a little later than normal today. I'm starting this podcast at 9:19 a.m. Thursday morning. And as of this moment, I'll double check right now again, because I just looked about a minute ago, there is no update at this point on Deshaun Watson. Will there be one today? We shall see. We've been waiting for 2 days. It was to continue to wait. More coming up on that. The Carolina Panthers may be about to name their starting quarterback. Big surprise who that's going to be. LeBron signs an extension in L.A. The NBA schedule is announced. But we begin with the Cleveland Guardians with a big win yesterday. That's all coming up in the bullpen with Adam the Bull.
Podcast is not for the faint of heart.
And I do think it's time for the Browns to move on.
It's not for those who ride the fence.
He's proven nothing.
But if you're looking for someone who tells it like it is about Cleveland sports,
everybody does fandom their way.
You've come to the right place.
I don't think he's any good.
It's time for the bullpen with Adam the Bull.
Yes, indeed. Here I am. Da-da-da-da. Yes, it is true. I mentioned this briefly yesterday that I was traveling on the anniversary. But today, it was exactly 11 years ago on this date, August the 18th, that I officially moved to Northeast Ohio. At the time, I was living renting a home in Lakewood. And we were very happy. We got to Lakewood really early in the morning. I think I mentioned yesterday that we spent the night in Youngstown. We were originally driving here on the 17th. But we had traffic. We got a late start. And we just stayed in Youngstown for the night. And we did the final, whatever it is, hour and change of the drive early Thursday morning. Or I don't know. I don't remember if it was a Thursday, actually. Now I got to look because I'm so weird. I got to look. Let's see. Was it? I feel like it might have been a Thursday, but probably not. I don't know. Let's see. It was 2011 that I moved to Northeast Ohio. There's 2015. There's 2012. It was a Thursday. I'm right. Listen, I'm not crazy as I think I am. I mean, I am crazy, but not about that. Anyway, so it was a Thursday. 11 years ago, I got to Lakewood on a Thursday morning. I think we got to Lakewood 8 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And so I am now officially a Clevelander for 11 years. I'll be honest, when I moved here 11 years ago, I never thought I'd be living here for 11 years. And now 11 years later, it's so funny because this morning I took my son out to Avon for baseball. I'm getting them some extra coaching, one-on-one coaching for baseball out at that great facility, the T3 facility in Avon by the Lake Erie Crushers Stadium. And shout out to Coach Bob. Place is an awesome facility. It's really cool. But anyway, so as I was driving back, I actually wasn't thinking of the date early this morning. For whatever reason, but I was thinking how maybe now more than ever, I have no desire to move out of the area. Somebody actually asked me, I think it was yesterday. We were having lunch after the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. G, Tyvis, Earl, and Anthony. We went for lunch. Because we wanted to stick around the studio in case the Deshaun Watson news broke, because we wanted to, if the news breaks when we're home already, we'll do it from home because we want to be there for you live. But we were sticking around because we thought something might break right after the show, and we wanted to kind of go back in studio and do it. So we decided to walk across the street and have some lunch. And we were talking, and somebody, I can't remember now who asked me. I don't know if it was G. I can't remember who asked me. Said, we were just talking about radio and TV and our careers and stuff like that. Because some of these, guys like Earl and Anthony are just in the early stages of their career. And Tyvus, too, because he just obviously has transitioned from playing to, and he's, still like to play, but transitioning from television to media. And those guys are all doing really well, really well. I love working with all three of them. And obviously I've been working with Tyvus and Anthony longer than Earl. He's just joined the crew. But they're all good guys, and they're hard workers, and I love that. And I'm very excited for their futures. And G's more kind of middle of his career. And I'm far from the end, but I'm a little further along. Obviously, I've been doing it longer than any of these guys, except for Jay, but of the guys we were having lunch with. And one of the guys asked me, I think it was G, as we were talking about, the past and whatever, he asked me, did I have any regrets of leaving New York and not working there? Now, I didn't have to be fair, I didn't have a full-time opportunity I was working part-time at the Fan in New York. I was doing okay, I was able to get by, but I didn't have a full-time opportunity. But as the same week that I was offered the job to do radio here in Cleveland, I was offered a job in New York doing sports updates on a news station that was owned by the same company that owned the Fan in New York. So I had that option, and I could have stayed there and maybe gotten a New York full-time job at some point doing all sports talk. But I wanted to do sports talk, and I was excited about the adventure to Cleveland. But and I probably have mentioned this before, but at the time I didn't think I'd spend the rest of my career in Cleveland. And I can't say for sure that I will, because you never know what the future is going to hold. But at the moment, I'm having so much fun with what I'm doing. I really feel more of a part of the community than I have ever. At this point, it's taken a while. Like my wife has been, and my son have been a much bigger part of the community in terms of, like, I go out and about and I see a lot of fans, and that's awesome. But in terms of like just being a part of the place you live, I don't have as many friends as my wife and my son do, because, I'm much busier doing other, whatever. Like my wife's much better at making friends than I am, like good friends. And so I have some good friends, but I don't like spend as much time. And, this last year being involved in the Little League here in Rocky River, I just felt like more part of the community and more connection with more people on a personal level beyond just being on the radio or on TV. I know I'm kind of rambling at this point. I hope I'm not boring people, but, this is me. This is my life. If I bore you, I'm sorry. And this all started because I'm talking about this being the anniversary. And so I was just thinking this morning how I'm really as happy as I've been in a long time. And I can't picture moving out of the area. And I thought, and then I got home and I realized it was the 11th anniversary of moving here. And I thought, wow, again, I never thought I would have been here 11 years. And now I can't really imagine leaving. I mean, honestly, the only reason I would leave is the only thing I hate about it, and this is not unique to Cleveland, it's most of the North and most of the Northeast, is obviously the winter drives. I find the older I get, the less I can take the winter. And I mean, if we didn't have bad winters here, I don't even think I would consider moving at all. And even with the winters, I'm so happy right now that it would take a remarkable thing to make me go, because I just don't really have any desire to go. I never want to say never, because you never know what might come your way or what might happen. Who knows? But the bottom line is, to wrap it back around, I'm excited that it's my 11th anniversary living in Northeast Ohio. Obviously, my son has born and raised here, spent his whole life here. And my family and I are very happy. And I love being I always call myself a mutt when people ask me. I'm half Clevelander, half New Yorker. And I'm proud of being from here for the last 11 years. I'm proud of my roots in New York, but I'm also proud of being a Clevelander for the last 11 years too. So I apologize for the crazy ramblings. But anyway, just wanted to share some personal thoughts with you. I meant to do it for like a minute, turned into about 8 minutes. So let me take a break. When we come back, I want to get to the Guardians' wild game last night to salvage and split that 4-game series with the Tigers, and they needed it bad. So we'll get to that coming up next. But if you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, you are depriving yourself of a great joy. And guess what? There's a new flavor delicious, indulgent cookie dough. Covered in chocolate. You got it. Built has done it again. Cookie dough chunk puffs. Light, chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course, 100% real chocolate. And they're only 160 calories with 15 grams of protein. You cannot beat this. I'm telling you, you're going to love the new cookie dough chunk puff. Whether you need a snack for your workout, a late night treat, or just need to grab a quick bite, Built is the perfect protein bar. They taste better than a candy bar. Ditch the calories, fat, and sugar. Grab yourself a Built bar today. Go to Built.com. That's BUILT.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDON15 and get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKEDON15, LOCKEDON15 with Built Bars. All right, little water break here. My giant mug. Okay, so last night, obviously 2 nights ago, on Tuesday, the Guardians had a brutal loss. The controversy with the umpires from the first inning, the bad overturn at home plate, caught stealing. That was a questionable call, a swinging strikeout in the ninth. They got that one right, certainly. But obviously, the Twins had won their third straight last night, and if the Guardians had lost, it would have been a tie for first. They needed this one. You don't want to lose 3 out of 4 to the Tigers. Bad enough you split. White Sox did lose last night, so the Guardians were down 4-2. In the bottom half of this is just wild what happened in this game. So 4-2 in the bottom of the 8th. The Guardians are looking not good. It looks like they're definitely going down in this game, right? And I'm just bringing up the exact play-by-play because what happened in the 8th inning was just ridiculous. So they bring in Andrew Chafin, who's been, is a really good relief pitcher, left-handed relief pitcher. He did give up a home run the other day to Jimenez, which was the first home run that he'd given up to a lefty in almost a calendar year. So Owen Miller starts off the inning. He strikes out. Jimenez then next. He strikes out. So it's 2 out, nobody on. Chafin has struck out 2 in a row. He strikes out Luke Maile. If you didn't watch this, you're not going to believe this. So Luke Maile strikes out to end the 8th, except it doesn't end the 8th. Because it ends up being a wild pitch. It gets by the catcher, and Luke Maile, who's not the fastest runner, a lot of times guys will strike out. You think it's the end of the inning. You just walk back to the dugout, and they throw you out. But he didn't quit. He did what this team always does. They stay in the game. They hustle. They give effort. So Luke Maile ends up getting the first on a wild pitch. So, again, to recap, Andrew Chafin basically had struck out the side. He struck out 3 straight batters. But because of the wild pitch, Maile keeps the inning alive. They're still down 4-2, and it's 2 out and a runner on first. And you're like, okay, well, will they do anything? Well, they did. Miles Straw, single, first and second now. Stephen Kwan, who we know has been hitting the cover off the ball lately, hits a ground rule double. 4-3. Will Benson, who pinch ran for Maile, scores. Miles Straw goes to third. They make a pitching change to Alex Lang. Ahmed Rosario comes up, base hit, tie game. Jose Ramirez, double, 2-run score, 6-4. Oscar Gonzalez, double, run scores, 7-4. They intentionally walk Naylor. Owen Miller, who started off the inning by striking out. Line drive up the middle, run scores, 8-4. They finally get Jimenez, who strikes out twice in the inning to end the inning. But again, an inning that the Guardians had struck out 4 times. They struck out 4 times in an inning. The first 3 batters struck out, and they scored 6 runs because the wild pitch opened the door to this inning, and the scrappy Guardians took advantage of it. Again, after the strikeout wild pitch, single, double, intentional walk, single. Remarkable. Credit to Miles Straw, who I've been hard on, deservedly so. He's been terrible this year. He got it going with that base hit. That led, he got them going, and then there was some energy there when you get after the wild pitch and the hustle by Maile. And, Miles Straw and Maile, two guys who haven't done much offensively to help the team, hustle, base hit, and then the guys who you're paying to get the big hits come through. Kwan, Rosario, Ramirez, Gonzalez, Miller all come through with big hits. And a game that looked like it was going to be 4-2 Tigers going in the ninth instead is 8-4 Guardians going in the ninth. Game over. That is a big win. Great win. And so now the Guardians sit at 63-55, still a game up on the Twins. Tied in the loss column, though. And we now have 110, 118, 44 games to go, baby. Guardians, who were not the favorite to win the division for a while, are now a slight favorite over the Twins and White Sox to win the American League Central. Now, big series coming up this weekend. The Guardians, who it seems like never have a day off, are actually off today. And then they begin a big weekend against the Chicago White Sox. This is it. The White Sox, who did lose yesterday, as I mentioned, have been playing better. And the Guardians have a chance to really crush them. But the White Sox are only 2 games out. So if they sweep this series, if the White Sox come into Cleveland and sweep, they're going to be in first place, or at least they're going to be ahead of the Guardians. I guess they could be behind the Twins still. So this is a big series here. And some interesting pitching matchups. The Guardians will have their 2 best starters going. Quantrill pitched much better lately. I didn't think he looked good yesterday, especially against this bad Tiger lineup. Tomorrow night, Tristan Mckenzie against Lance Lynn. Mckenzie's obviously been great. Lance Lynn, who's been excellent the last few years, has been awful this year. He was injured for a lot of the season and has been the White Sox worst starter. So that's an edge there. Great pitching matchup on Saturday. You wouldn't have thought it before the season. I mean, you don't think Bieber, who's pitching his best ball in a couple of years right now. But Johnny Cueto, who I frankly thought was done, finished, no chance he was ever going to be good again, he has been excellent for the White Sox. He's been tremendous. I can't believe it, man. I thought this guy was completely shot. But at 36 years old, he's having a great season. I haven't seen him. I haven't actually watched him pitch that much this year, couple of starts. And he's not, striking out guys at a big number like he used to. But he's keeping them off base. That's been a big thing. He's not giving up a ton of walks, and he's pitched really, really well for the White Sox this year. And then so that's I still give the edge to Bieber in the Saturday matchup. But Sunday, big edge for the White Sox there. Dylan Cease has been their best starter. He's been outstanding. And he'll go against Savali, who did pitch his best game of the year the other day. But overall, as we know, has not been very good. So and that Sunday game's a 12:05 start at Peacock. I hate that. Anyway, so big weekend here. Got to take care of business. I want to see the Guardians win 2 out of 3 against the White Sox. And you don't want to, you got to take care of business with Mckenzie and Bieber because that Sunday game is going to be really tough. And then you follow that up with a really tough road trip, 2 in San Diego, 4 in Seattle. And then you come home for a tough homestand because Baltimore's played decently and then Seattle again. So it's a tough stretch for the Guardians here. Through the first weekend in September, real tough stretch where you're playing, at least decent teams in the next 15 games through Sunday, September the 4th. That's going to show you a lot to where they are. Because the schedule's not easy. They still got 8 games with the Twins. They still got 3 with Tampa Bay late in the season. Got another series at the White Sox late in the season. You do have some Royals sprinkled in there. I think they're done with the Tigers at this point. Yeah, I think they're done with the Tigers now. But it was good that they got that one, and I like the way they're playing. And it was a great comeback win. And after that brutal, disappointing loss with all the controversy with the the umpiring on Tuesday, it was good to see them pull their you-know-what together. Because the Guardians have been so up and down, right? There's been these huge peaks and huge valleys, great hot streaks, great long cold streaks, terrible cold streaks. And you're worried that they're going to lose 3 in a row going into a weekend with the White Sox. Could things kind of go sideways for them here? And maybe they still will. Hopefully not, but maybe they still will. But to come back and win that game with those 6 runs in the 8th was huge. So you're not going into this White Sox weekend tied with them and on a 3-game losing streak. Or not tied with them because you'd still been a game up on the White Sox, but tied with the Twins. And just, feeling kind of lousy because he just lost 3 in a row to an awful Tigers team. All right, quick break. I still got a lot I want to get to. Quarterbacks, week 1 matchup. I want to get to some LeBron stuff as well. It's all coming up here in the bullpen with Adam the Bull. BetOnline.net, fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be, as I've been telling you for a while, the top online resource for all your sports wagering information. Live in-game betting, scores, podcasts, they got you covered. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action. BetOnline, where the game starts. So yesterday, I mentioned earlier in the show that I'd been hearing since I went to Browns training camp Tuesday afternoon that a deal was imminent between the league and Deshaun Watson's camp or the players' union. And I was told on Tuesday they thought it was a good chance that something was going to get settled by Tuesday or Wednesday. Now, that obviously hasn't happened. And as of now, it is now 9:40 Thursday morning. As I quickly scan through Twitter here over the last few minutes, there is no update. All right? There is no update yet on the Deshaun Watson situation. So we still wait. He's still at practice. The fact that they're talking settlement, though, is very good because what that means is if they do come to an agreement, that Deshaun Watson will be back at some point this season. Now, it may be 8 games, it may be 9, it may be 10. I don't know why we always say even numbers. It could be 12, it could be 13. I don't know what it is. I can't imagine they would agree if there's going to be an agreement. I guess my guess, for whatever reason, is it's 12, somewhere between 8 and 12 games. I don't know that, just speculation. But if they're negotiating, that means we will see, or I'd say it almost definitely means, I can't see it any other way, that we will see Deshaun Watson at some point this year, which obviously gives the Browns a chance, if they stay competitive, to possibly not only get to the playoffs, but win while they're in the playoffs, because Deshaun Watson obviously gives them the best chance to win when you're in the playoffs. I've heard a lot of people say that if Jacoby Brissett plays, he's a downgrade from last year, what they had a quarterback. And in theory, that makes sense, right? Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett. I don't think anybody would argue that, even known haters like me. Baker Mayfield, at his best, is better than Jacoby Brissett. There's no argument. However, Baker Mayfield was horrible last year. Baker Mayfield wasn't his best last year. Baker Mayfield was a bad quarterback. Baker Mayfield's not a bad quarterback, in my opinion. He's an average quarterback, in my opinion. Last year, specifically, he was a bad quarterback. Now, we could talk about the reasons why till we're blue in the face, but they're irrelevant. The bottom line is he was a bad quarterback in 2021. It's that simple. So even Jacoby Brissett is not necessarily a downgrade from Baker Mayfield last year. And I heard Josh Cribbs. I didn't hear it, to be honest, but I saw the quote from Josh Cribbs. It was on my old radio station this morning, and I saw that quote, and I said, yeah, Josh Cribbs is right. It's not a downgrade from the quarterback last year, or at least because Jacoby Brissett will play at least as well as Baker did last year, and probably better, because he probably won't turn the ball over nearly as much. Will he play better? Will he be as good, if not better, than Baker was in 2020? No, I doubt it. I find that highly unlikely. I guess anything's possible, but no. So it's a downgrade from 2020 Baker, but I think at the least he'll be neutral from 2021 Baker, and I would think an upgrade from 2021 Baker. in which a season which the Browns were at least in the mix until very late in the season. That's something to keep in mind. As for Baker Mayfield, he is expected to be named the official starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. Not a huge surprise to anyone with a brain. They talked about a competition, but you don't make a trade, even though they really, gave up nothing. They gave up a conditional draft pick, and they're paying Baker very little money, Carolina. They didn't give up much to get him, but if they were confident in the quarterbacks they had, Matt Corral and Sam Darnold, they probably would not have traded for Baker when they did. They wouldn't have traded for him at all. And so from the moment the Panthers traded for Baker, I think most of us assumed, myself included, that Baker would be the starter. It's expected to become official, I guess, today or at some point here, which means that Baker will, unless something weird happens, gets hurt or some crazy thing, Baker will do what we expected for the last few months, and that is play for the Carolina Panthers against the Cleveland Browns in Week 1, which obviously makes an already, well, I shouldn't say it's an already juicy matchup, because if it were Jacoby Brissett against Sam Darnold, it wouldn't be juicy to anyone outside of Cleveland or Carolina maybe, but it makes it a juicy matchup. We all know the reasons why. We know Baker's going to want to stick it to the Browns. We know the Browns are going to want to stick it to Baker, and that's great. That makes for excitement. It's going to create excitement around the league. I guess there's still a slim possibility Deshaun Watson could play in this game as well, but I'm not holding my breath for that. I can't imagine that the scenario that would have to happen for that to take place seems so unlikely that I just don't buy that there's any real chance that's going to happen, but I guess you never know. I just want to spend a couple of minutes on LeBron. Obviously, it's funny. I tweeted yesterday when the word came out that LeBron was signing an extension with Carolina, with the Lakers. Adrian Wojnarowski tweets out, LeBron James, 2-year, $97 million extension, including a player option for the 2024-2025 season. I tweeted, the dream is dead. Because, 6 months ago, I made the comment stupidly that I wouldn't want LeBron back on this team. And when I did that, a lot of people responded like, dream for who? I don't want him. And I realized that there's some fans as dumb as I was a few months ago. Now, I've smartened up. Now, if you want to say you wouldn't want to trade any of your big three to get him, okay. I mean, I guess you could make that argument because they're younger. That at least makes sense. But if I could get LeBron as a free agent to go with this team, they're immediately the Eastern Conference favorites. So I don't know why you wouldn't want that. This idea that, like, the Cavs are going to win a championship without him and it'll mean more. I mean, maybe, but at this point, it's a long shot the Cavs winning a championship. If they added LeBron as a free agent at the end of next year, well, it's no longer a long shot. Now they're the favorites in the East and maybe the favorites in the league. But I get it. There's still some people that are scarred by, well, I don't get it. I guess I should get it because I said the same stupid thing 6 months ago. At least I smartened up. But this idea that you wouldn't want LeBron at all, even as a free agent, to me is, it just doesn't make much sense. If you really think about it, it just makes no sense at all. One other thing, yesterday it was announced that the Cavs, the regular season NBA schedule, Cavs will begin on the road against the Raptors on October the 19th. We're only 2 months away from the start of the NBA season, which is so weird. Then they'll play the Bulls on the road on the 22nd, and the home opener at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, The Rock, will be Sunday, October 23rd against the Washington Wizards. Last year, I believe, the Cavs were, I think they were only on national TV like once or twice, once on NBA TV, maybe once on ESPN, I can't remember. This year, for the first time since LeBron, they have multiple national TV games. Not a million of them, but for a team that made the play-in, it's good to see them back on national TV. They'll be on TNT twice, December 6th against LeBron and the Lakers, and February 2nd against the Grizzlies. 3 times on ESPN, February 10th against the Pelicans, March 1st against the Celtics, and March 15th against the Sixers. 3 of those, the TNT games are both at home, and the Sixer game on ESPN is at home, the New Orleans and Boston games on ESPN are on the road, plus 4 games on NBA TV. So the Cavs also, some other notes, they'll host the Warriors on January the 20th, and the Celtics on November 2nd and March 1st. So there you go. Martin Luther King Day, Cavs will play the Pelicans at home. So we'll see if Zion Williamson actually, in the article I'm reading, it's like they'll face Zion Williamson. I'm like, oh, you sure about that? I'm not holding my breath for Zion Williamson playing. All right, thanks for joining me on this edition of The Bullpen with Adam the Bull. Hope I didn't bore you too much with some of the personal stuff in the beginning. I enjoyed it as always. Hope you did too. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Adam the Bull. Check out my Cameo profile. Make videos for fantasy football or almost anything else. And if you want to book me for a speaking engagement, a wedding, or more, go to adamthebull.com. Click on the Book the Bull tab. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Where else but right here in the bullpen with Adam the Bull. See ya.